The May 24th Conservation Commission meeting.
What's going on?
Excuse me, folks, meeting's in
Graduation
session.
tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
my son.
We got
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Congratulations.
We got our alarm
milkweed.
4 a.m. So we gotta get in there in time to get a seat.
Fantastic.
Oh, this is a milkweed seed,
Yeah.
common.
It's the prayer for the day. Full sun.
Okay, what do we got here? According to Massachusetts General Laws,
Oh, sure.
Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Notice is hereby given the intent of Town of Walpole to construct a pull-off on North Street to access conservation land. Map 9, Lot 18-1, within 100 feet of the wetland resource area in Walpole, Mass. Plans are filed at the Conservation Commission office. Public hearing in the above matter will be held person March 22nd, 2023, beginning at 7:20 PM. All interested persons request to be present. And the hearing's been opened and continued. Do you have anything more?
So we have one plan that was draft revised plan that was printed out today, and we have a PDF. So, like I said earlier, that's what we have.
Will that show up on the screen?
Are we ready?
So we have a complete plan?
Sort of. Not
No, we have a
completely.
draft revised plan.
One here. This is the Q file
And when did you get the plan, Amanda?
this afternoon.
At 3 o'clock.
Drop that.
Yep, case.
So what,
Yep. You want to do Jack?
what we have done, if you get that up on the screen, but instead of having a pull-off on North Street, we'll just have a trailhead so that we do not need to go through the planning board scenic road hearing. We withdrew from that. We'll have a, I think it says 8 feet, 8 feet of stone wall that we have to go over. You need, it triggers the scenic road hearing is 15 feet, so we're under that. And on the opposite side of the road, we'll have about a 5-foot disturbance of stone wall. On the opposite side of the road, a little bit south of that, where the pull-off was, on the opposite side, so that'd be on the west side of the road, we're going to widen that area with your gravel pull-off. The pavement does widen out in that area, so we'll just put a gravel, maybe about 5 feet of gravel to widen that area, and then have a walkway that goes north from there and joins and can then cross North Street at a perpendicular, there's a right angle crossing at North Street to get over to the conservation property. So there'll still be some fill, but it won't be as much. And there'll be some relocation, but not enough to trigger the scenic road hearing. There'll be a boardwalk from, it'd be north, there's a wetland and that brook needs to be crossed. Pass these down, this will be,
Yes, there's only,
what the, if there's any left, how many you got
you
there?
guys didn't get a copy.
There's a book
I
there.
got it on the internet, thank you.
You need any more?
I don't know.
How many did you get?
Here, here's another one.
Thank you.
Another one?
I think
We're good?
Is it enough? Okay.
The walkway.
You want one,
Or
Stephanie?
boardwalk for crossing the stream.
All right, so if you take a look at this, it's 5 feet wide, but it'll be supported by 4 by 4 by 12-inch concrete blocks. So the footprint on the ground is minimized. This will be 5 feet wide and will be designed to meet ADA compliance.
How long, Jeff, did you say?
I'm not sure scale on this.
Well, it says 5 feet wide, but I don't know. how
Well, it's
long.
5 feet wide.
You can see it.
Each section would be, but it would be an 8-foot section, probably. Where's that drawing go?
Which
You
one?
had, the one you had. Do I have
Plan
it?
for the
Oh, you
boardwalk.
got it.
Right,
It-
there you go.
What is it for, sir?
Did you pass that down?
They have them, they have them.
Okay. It shows the
Boardwalk
boardwalk
cross-section.
on that drawing,
This is what the boardwalk's
on the
on.
west side.
Oh,
Oh,
on that,
down
on that
there.
drawing,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
East of the boardwalk, that's what it looked
So
like.
it's probably,
But this is to get onto the property,
I don't know, maybe we've got 100 feet.
right? I don't know, that's what I
It
don't know.
doesn't show. It doesn't show the location of the boardwalk.
Yes, it does, it's red.
There's a stream
Does it?
It's in red, isn't it?
Yeah, in red. That's
Yes,
the
this is where
boardwalk.
it is, it's a little bit,
Oh, that little bit.
yeah, just
Oh,
to
that
get
by
from
the
the
small-
So is
road over
this
the
a
wall.
boardwalk too?
It's to say proposed gravel walkway, nope.
Yeah.
Location of one.
Oh, it's orange.
It's orange.
Okay, orange.
Oh, that's the entire boardwalk?
It's not a ladder.
Oh, the boardwalk's over there.
The boardwalk's on the other side, eh? Cool.
What's on that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm
Right,
looking at
that's
the
where
wrong
you
side.
get to
The
this.
cross-section of the boardwalk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The framing structure. So this is a,
I'm looking on the right-hand side.
have you ever been to,
Oh.
the woods across from, the
Landis, you have any
town
comments?
water area? They just built a boardwalk, it's just like this.
I have a question for Lindsay. So is this a complete
Yeah, looks
picture
good
of
to
the
me.
situation, or is this a preliminary plan?
So since the engineering department is doing this plan and they've been very busy with paving and stuff like that, this plan is not fully complete, it's a draft.
Right.
So, I think the final plan, we do have topo from the Norfolk County surveyors, so that needs to go back on so that, so you can fully see how the grades are wrapped into the existing grades. So,
So
no,
when
it's
do
not a
you,
complete
when do
plan.
you think he can make a complete plan? Because it's like, you know, we gotta see,
It's very hard for me to answer that question.
We have to depend on the availability of the engineering department, which they have been very busy. We are fortunate to have gotten this for tonight's meeting, so it's a start. So, all right, did you want to add anything?
No, just that we were, again, with the presented plan, we were trying to design for the least amount of impact on the conservation property, on the wetlands, and, to make it accessible for people that wanna walk there, as well as people who would like to pull up and bring their small, non-motorized boat down to the water. So those were always the points that we were trying to achieve through this project. And this seemed like a better scenario because we'd have to have less fill on the other side, as well as there were some concerns about having a large enough pull-out space on the conservation land. And it was pointed out that there's already a pull-out space on the other side of the street. So we're trying to take advantage of that.
Sounds good?
Dean, any questions?
No questions?
Will there be an actual crosswalk across the street?
That has been recommended by both fire and police.
So we're looking into that too?
Yeah, it's been, as the Conservation Commission, we can't say, let's put a crosswalk on a public way, so, but it has been it has been suggested by the fire and police.
Doug?
I took a little hike down here, and I chatted with one of the neighbors, the abutting neighbors, and heard to the question that just came up, I heard an awful story about one of the residents that lived there, and in their effort to cross the street, they were hit by a car. It's, visibility is not good there, so they would probably need to do something to help people that need to cross that street.
Yeah, we'll,
Right, there are things on the plan that, in the notes, that the town engineer put on.
there will be improvement to the site distance. So. Anything else, Doug?
That's it.
Media?
Parking on that left-hand side, can you park there, or can you just stage?
We haven't decided, but I feel that it should be just drop off,
Right.
and not permanent parking. You could, it's very limited space,
Right,
so I think the same situation applies just for drop off.
right. Okay,
So,
okay, that's all.
that's it.
I've parked in that spot. It's actually pretty parkable. Don't park on the other side if I'm going in there, but I'm parked there.
Yeah.
It's a real obvious. And so this would be a two-car area with this plan. But until we see the final plan, because I know the town engineer's department is extremely busy, I don't know if we're not coming to any grand conclusions right now. So basically, I think it's a good idea to do this on the other side of the street where you can already park. Yeah.
We'll see what, that issue would be debatable at this point. No, nothing's been decided as far as whether it's drop off or parking. But because it is limited to, from a practical standpoint, probably two cars, depending how people
Yeah,
park.
two cars.
You could get more in if it was directed, but that's not gonna
Which
happen.
is similar to the situation on South Street where a brand-new trail was just put in by Gary, and there's room for two cars, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there is parking nearby at Adams Farm, so we'll see. That's something that isn't decided yet. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Please identify yourself for the record. Does anybody want to say anything? Go ahead.
Good evening, Kathy Campbell, I'm at 3135 Burns Ave, and Laura Fisk at 930 North Street. On the other side where the trailhead would be, is that, I know it's not on the plan, but we talked last time that the trail would sort of meander through the trees down into the pond. Is that, will that also be shown on this plan?
Not
Probably
precisely.
not. This is just for, because this is just for permitting, and the only area that is in question for permitting is this area here adjacent to the road. So the trail will have to be marked and used so it fits. There is a semi-trail there now. You can get through there, so we just have to mark it so people use go the same way.
But there would be or is that sort of still under question? There would be a boardwalk on that side of
No,
it?
there's no need
Oh,
for
so
boardwalk.
there's no boardwalk on the other side now? Okay.
No.
So, and again, I'm trying to orient myself, if the boardwalk coming from Adams Farm over the wetlands and the river is ADA compliant, and you get to the place where you can cross the street, so we're saying, so if someone comes across that boardwalk and across the street, in a motorized or, a wheelchair, are they gonna be able to get down into that same path?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
can I add, we still do have to have something from where you come onto the conservation property from the street
Right.
to get down to the existing grade that has to be
Right.
ADA compliant. So,
Yeah, that,
yes.
there's about a 4-foot drop from the road surface to the ground.
Yeah,
And so that would be the fill in there, and then some form of a ramp to get down to ground level.
Okay.
And
So-
then
so
the
s-
trail, we'll have to take a look at that as well.
Okay.
But from a width standpoint.
Okay, so some of the plan that we looked at last time we were here, where I think they were saying it's a 3-to-1 grade and all, like, all of that will still happen on the other side of the street, so that people can
Yeah.
get to that trailhead and get down that area.
There has to be some fill put in on the east side of the street, the conservation parcel, and that has to be graded, probably graded down, and then there also will have to be a ramp of some form that meets ADA compliance.
And again, when you get off that boardwalk, are you, I don't know the area, are you on forestry land, are you on Adams Farm? Is it just, do you just take, are you just in the field there and,
The right-of-way on North Street is 50 feet, with most of the excess, obviously, North Street is not 50 feet wide.
Yep.
And most of that excess is on the west side, which is where the boardwalk would be. So it would be within the right-of-way.
It has to be within right of way. We don't have the authority to build anything on the,
Okay.
of the New England forestry land. So there's enough right of way on that side, on the opposite side from the Concom land, to put a boardwalk in.
okay. And maybe I just want to, I think there's an existing fence on Adams Farm that kind of comes out. Are you saying like that boardwalk would go up to where that fence is and then people
No.
would?
The boardwalk would be just on the buffer zone in the wetland area that's near that stream. You know, you're aware, there's a stream that crosses the
Yep.
road there.
Yeah,
So it's in that area that it is wetland, and it could flood, so this would have to be up high enough to accommodate
There's an
that.
old New England forestry sign, and then there's like a kind of a roadway or cart path that gets cleared sometimes. It's short of that. The boardwalk won't go all the way up to that area.
How big is that board? Do you have an idea how long it is?
It's about 100.
I would say, at this point, approximately 100 feet.
okay. So, so you'll come, if I'm parking at Adams Farm, I would come out and I would be walking between like the street and the fence. I'd be walking
Yeah.
on that side. No?
Yeah, yes,
No,
No.
yeah, at Adams Farm,
Yeah,
no,
you'll be between the trees and the fence,
in the field.
in the
you'll be in
field.
the field.
Yeah.
But between the trees and the fence.
Okay,
And then when you get down to where the fence makes a corner,
yep,
there is an opening between that and the next field, which belongs to New England Forestry. So that would then, and town has a pump station right there.
yep,
So that would get from there, again, within the right-of-way, and go down along the road, which is probably now shrubbery of some kind,
okay.
you know. It's-
Could we have a copy of that? Because I looked on the website and I wasn't able to find any.
Yeah, because it's just a draft. I got it at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so it's not ready.
She didn't even give us copies, really. I mean, this,
Pass that back.
It'll go up
Sure,
eventually.
I thought we were going to continue the hearing, but, so as soon as it's
oh, I saw it, I just didn't see
ready, yeah, we'll put it on the website, which, you know, if it's okay to put, we may put it as a draft on the website, so you know it's not
Yeah.
a ready one on the website, so I think we can do that. We can just put the PDF that we've had up tonight and make it clear that it's just a draft.
Okay, that'd be helpful.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
yeah. Anyone else?
But one more question. Are we going to provide some barrels for people to put the litter in?
No,
No,
no, we said that.
carry in, carry out,
We'll have signage?
yeah.
Okay.
And we have
Because
a number of signs.
there is a litter problem
Yeah,
right along
I know,
there.
and the problem with wherever you put a barrel is how you're gonna get to it to service it.
Yeah.
So, see how that works. Probably ask for volunteers to take care of it if it doesn't work.
Next year.
I know.
Next spring.
It's your week. Anyone else? Okay. Well, since this is not completed yet, we need to add more info to the drawing. We'll continue this. We have a bunch of hearings on the 14th. We want to put this in, what have we got, 17?
The question is, will Carl be ready to do it on the 14th? I mean, it's hard for him to even get this done with all what he's doing.
What are the 28?
Whatever your pleasure is.
Just give him a little more time.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll help, but.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think, oh,
So we have a
But
7,
there, you do have a lot, I mean, even though it's showing only going from 7 to 7:25, it's a lot of hearings, it's 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6
there's
hearings.
more from what I
I
have
vote
here.
28 too.
Okay.
you vote what?
Second.
The
June
28th.
28th, I have 7 o'clock open, is that correct? Okay. So someone make a motion to continue the hearing till June 28th at 7?
Al's out here.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's June 28th at 7. Okay. You want this one? Probably have a better.
Yeah, I'm gonna start coming up with my subdivision naming company.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just two nature nouns. Just put them together. Like Meadow Rock, or like Steep Cliff, or something like that. Or an animal, Deer Cliff, deer clearing, Grasshopper Alley, perfect. Or like Monarch Way. Or add an adjective of measure, heights, lows. But it's always high, never like lowlands, you
All you
know?
need is an algorithm, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
It's
you're
never
good.
like,
Good.
I'm gonna do it.
I think you should.
Let's become a consultant. I'll take a street name
This one?
or an animal. A majestic
Not
animal.
even you.
Town of Walpole Land Disturbance Permit, Conservation Commission, public hearing, and of course, Walpole Stormwater Erosion Control Bylaw regulations, notice hereby giving the intent, GLM Engineering on behalf of Walsh Brothers Building Company, file a land disturbance permit application for construction, 6-lot, single-family subdivision with roadway grading utilities located at 50 High Street, Walpole, Mass., map 17, parcel 30 and 31. Plans are filed at the Conservation Commission office. Public hearing, the above matter will be held in person, May 24th, 2023, beginning at 7:10 PM. All interested persons are requested to be present. From town engineer. Robert has reviewed the plans.
Right,
Application materials with the O and M plan. And a stormwater management report
I wonder what.
Plant a shrub.
prepared by GLM Engineering. So these are comments from the town engineer. Agent will cover other planned project issues. My review focuses on the hydraulics, hydrology, and long-term responsibilities. Plan appears to vary from those previously approved by the planning board in the following areas. Underground roof recharge systems capable of storing approximately 2 inches of runoff have been added to 5 of the 6 lots. The outlet control structure overflow elevation is reduced from elevation 167.1 to elevation 167.0.
Existing structures.
Outlet control primary discharge increased from 8-inch round orifice to 12 by 18-inch wheel. The flow under drain orifice increased from 2-inch to 2.5-inch, and its invert revised from 164.8 to 164.7. Inverts in and out of the outlet. Control change from 164.5 to 164.3, to 164.6 to 164.5. Note should be added to sheet 4 and on the profile on sheet 5 at the edge of the new road and High Street indicating a roll or bump shall be paved into the new road at the existing gutter line to maintain stormwater flow in High Street, preventing it from entering the new road. Sheet 4, revise the inverts to match the details. On sheet 4, consider revising drainage basin section, bottom elevation, match the modeling drainage report. Also revise detail on sheet 7. Sheet 4, add overflow spillway and provide detail on sheet 7. Stormwater management. Appendix B, stormwater recharge of water quality volume calculations, standard 3. Provide calculations for static storage, recharge, and drain time in the report. The attached HydroCAD report is not sufficient. Provide backup on how 4,001 cubic feet is derived. Consider performing another test pit in the detention basin to be witnessed by current staff. Appendix C, hydraulic analysis and pipe sizing. Provide pipe calculation for outlet structure to DMH11 and DMH11 to existing DMH. Calculations in the report are for the 25-year storm. Planning board requires 50-year storm. Appendix E, operation maintenance plan revised to format recently approved for Northwood Estates that shows the owner and applicant developer responsible until the road is accepted. The town responsible for the road after that, and the owners of lot 2 and 3 responsible for the stormwater basin once the road is accepted. Note, maintenance costs should be included. And you have a copy of this?
Yeah, I received it today.
Okay. This Board of Health, and it's May 23rd meeting, voted unanimously that the board has no concerns. I guess that's it. Nothing else here? Okay.
For the record, Rob Truax, GLM Engineering Consultants. We submitted a land disturbance application to the board. This is a project off High Street. It's called High Meadows. This is a subdivision that was approved back in 2016 by the planning board. Permits are still active. So there are no wetlands on the site. There's no wetlands within 100 feet of the site. The nearest wetland is actually behind the homes on the opposite side of Rosemary Lane on the back side of the project. So the reason this never came before you was because we weren't working within any of the buffer zones. So, and it wasn't anticipated that the road construction was gonna start right away. He was gonna actually hold on to this for a little bit. So now we're in the position where we're running out of, the time clock's ticking on the planning board approval, so he may have to start construction this year or in the spring. So we wanted to get the land disturbance permit activated and get that in place prior to doing any work. We're also gonna do the NPDES permit online, the federal permit as well for erosion control. So it's a 6-lot subdivision. One of the houses is already existing. If you went out to the site today, you'd see a house that's on High Street up in the front, which that one will be demolished, and that's part of lot 6. There's an existing house when you come into the site, there's an existing house with a garage, secondary apartment over the garage, and then there are some outbuildings down in the back, a couple of garages down in the back as well, if you drove out there. And it's just, right now, it's just stored and people are living in all the houses as we speak. So basically we're here just for the land disturbance permit to get that activated. We do show some erosion control at the back of the site. There is actually a head wall right here that's an inlet There's no wetlands there, but there is an inlet on the back corner of the project. We were gonna eventually, when we did the design, we were gonna use that. We did obtain an easement from the Keeney's in case we had to pipe over here and tie into that, but we ended up, there's another drainage that comes across the corner of the property up in the, I guess that would be what, northeasterly corner of the site. And that's where the drainage basin's located. So there's a drainage basin in this corner. It's a recharge basin. It overflows into this drain line that comes down from High Street and then goes down into Rosemary, eventually goes to the wetlands on the other side of the homes, on the back side of Rosemary. And we do have recharge systems shown for all the houses. Those are all sized for the 2-inch rainfall. And we did update the drainage per our new regulations. Well, they're not new, but for the higher rainfall intensities. And that was the reason for some of the minor changes in the outlets and inverts and whatnot. So I think that's pretty much it. We can try and, John Walsh is here himself. He's the owner of the project, Walsh Brothers Building Company. We can try and answer any questions you might have on the project.
Okay. Landon?
So I guess you should still address the town engineers.
Oh, yeah, we have no problem. We'll address the comments, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I think, so you have, the basin is a retention basin, it's not an infiltration basin, and you have an under drain.
It is an infiltration basin.
It's just labeled a retention basin rather
Or
than.
it might be labeled that, but yeah, no, it's labeled a retention basin.
Okay, and why did you feel like you needed a under drain?
We used to put them in back then, so all the basins, when we were coming before the board, everybody wanted them drained.
Yeah, I know Maggie and I always had differences
I
of
know.
that because the infiltration basins should be
So do
infiltrating
I
and
can't,
under drains.
so I have that small little weep hole at the bottom. I
So do
do.
you need the under drain?
You don't, but we could cap it. You should probably have it for emergency purposes. They want to drain in the basins anyway, that you can, if you ever had to drain the basin down, if there was a problem with a pipe clogged. I mean, I don't need it. It's just there because we've always put them in back then, and I've always left them.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think the discussion with Carl was, if you go out and do another soil test, that if, the soils were good enough for infiltration, full
It's
infiltration.
all sand. Yeah, it was all
you shouldn't
sand out
need
there.
that under drain.
It's all good soils. It's all A soils. It's all sand and gravel out there, so Maggie witnessed all the testing back then.
Obviously, we want all the water to infiltrate into the ground rather
Yeah.
than to go through a under drain and go into the pipe and go out to surface water.
I can do that. I can talk to him about that, and if he's okay with taking it off.
They didn't like them.
Oh, he doesn't like them? Oh, okay.
Maggie liked them. Maggie's the only one that liked them. She's not here anymore, so.
He was here when this was going through.
I know. So, if it's easy enough to do and it's not gonna
Yeah,
cause you.
that's no big deal.
I'm not here to make you go through other leaps and bounds through the planning board by changing your plan, so I'm conscious of that. Also, the plan references hay bales. We don't use hay bales.
Oh, yeah, we use a silt sock now, huh?
Yeah, so you should plan to use a silt sock. I think there was a note about, the stormwater doesn't go onto High Street, you're gonna have a little roll at the street.
Yeah, there'd be a little lip at the pavement so the water wouldn't come down from High Street. Yeah,
And then-
the road slopes from High Street in,
Uh-huh.
so we're going, coming down into the site.
And are you gonna be cutting and storing material? I mean, you're probably gonna be storing loam or any?
Probably store some loom. There's not a big cut in the road, it's mostly a fill. Raising this culvert, this is all raised up. And then, to get the drainage to work, they had to raise the road a bit. But we don't have any big cuts.
Cut and
We
fill
would-
or
Excuse me?
cut and fill, probably? Or you
Mostly
bring stuff in?
fill. There's no
Mostly
cut.
fill. Okay. So you'll be bringing stuff in?
Yeah, we're gonna bring some stuff in. That there would be stockpiling of, we stripped the loom, obviously.
Okay. And then just for fueling, concrete and paint area will be,
Concrete washouts.
yeah, washout.
You wanna see that on there?
I'd like to see a designated area,
I
so
think I
it
did
just
that
doesn't
on,
go.
I did that on Lincoln for you.
What?
We did that on Lincoln for you, for the,
Right, you usually have to do it for Nifty's permit, but we like to see it on our local plan.
yep, I can put it on there.
Yeah, I think that's just, I agree with the town engineer, and the commission can condition this, that a soil test be done and witnessed by the town engineer department.
Can we do that at the time of construction?
Well, that's what I'm saying, we could, the
Let me
commission
talk to
could
Kyle about
condition
that.
it.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about the soil test.
The commission can condition it. That was pretty much, you have your roof infiltrations, and that's 1 inch, you're infiltrating
Yes.
1 inch.
It's 2 inch.
Anything else? Dean?
Yeah, can we see that stockpile location on the plan with the washouts?
Yep, I made a note,
Okay, the phasing, is it just one phase, or we
just
can?
one phase.
Yeah, just clear, strip,
Build the road,
build a road.
bond it, build the houses. There's
Okay.
only 5 houses.
Okay.
That one's staying on lot 1,
Yeah,
at least, for the time being, unless someone came in and wanted to knock it down.
yeah. All right, no other questions?
No questions?
Doug?
So none of the houses will have a septic system. It's all connected to the sewer. But based on the elevation, are they pumping up
They're pumping.
to the street?
We're pumping to the street. I believe we have, I think we have one manhole with gravity up near the street. It might be this one. So this is what you call a common force main. These are the E1 pumps. We did that, I think John put those in on Fisher Street, New Fisher Lane, when we did that little subdivision. There's some on Delapa Circle. So what they all have their own individual pumps, and they pump to a common force main that goes up the street.
What do they do in a power outage?
Well, generally, when your power goes out, you don't have, you're not washing clothes, you're not taking a shower, you don't have any hot water. So they haven't been a problem. We've had them in, the tub's kind of small. It doesn't hold a lot of water. It's like 35 gallons. I mean, you could wash your hands, flush the toilet. We don't do backup power with them, and we haven't had an issue with them. I haven't heard of anything on the ones that are in town that we've done, that we've put in.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
No questions.
Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Please identify yourself for the record. Okay, so we'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
600. Okay.
We'll get you updated plans. We'll work with Kyle.
Yeah, so we would need updated plans with the items that were discussed tonight.
Yep.
The compost
Stockpiles.
stock, the
Concrete wash.
stockpile site on the plan, the fuel. Area.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, someone take a motion for the order with the comments as made.
I'll move it.
Any disturbance? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Was that an aye?
Yes.
Need to do
Oh,
aye.
aye.
600.
Aye. Aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain.
Is this a different plan?
We got to sign.
Pinnacle. Oh, that's Pinnacle.
This is Pinnacle, this is also.
This is what, this is what we
No, that's
just,
just what we just did, yeah. Okay. We can move that aside, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
did you get this? Did you get that one either?
No, that's all right.
What do you want?
Nothing.
You want this big guy?
I want peace and happiness. That's
Peace
what
in the
I want.
Middle East?
We're just in America.
I want
Asking
peace.
for a lot, huh?
I want peace in Walpole.
So Stephanie, did Al say he wasn't coming tonight?
I want people to follow the rules. That's why I wanna live out.
Where's that?
Oh, just the house in North Walpole. To know the big ass house in Walpole.
There's some really large houses here.
There's some down here. Go to prison.
We have the here it is. Conservation Commission, amended order of conditions and land disturbance permit in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and Walpole Stormwater and Erosion Control Bylaw, and regulations. Notice hereby given the intent of Bristol Brothers Development Corporation to amend the approved order of conditions, EP 215-1173 at Renmar Avenue and West Street, map 32, parcels 85, 86, 94, 95, 96, map 40, parcel 6, map 39, parcels 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, for the 100-unit AQV in Walpole, Mass. The amended order of conditions and land disturbance permit application and plans are on file at the Conservation Commission office. Public hearing on the above matter will be held in person on February 22nd, 2023, beginning at 7:15 PM. All interested persons requested to be present. Okay, hearing's been opened and continued. We have a email from the applicant. We respectfully request to continue the hearing while we work on addressing your concerns, Phil's comments, and any further comments received from Carl. And that's from Parker Design Group. So, we have we don't want to do it on the 24th, right? So, someone want to make a motion to continue this until June 28th at 7:05?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
600. So this is,
And then also could, they requested also an extension on the order of conditions, 315-1173, and ask if you would vote that for 1 year to keep their order of conditions alive.
so make that a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. 600. Where are we here? We got, this is John Walpole Conservation Commission public hearing in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and additionally in accordance with the Walpole Stormwater and Erosion Control Bylaw and regulations. Notice hereby given the intent of Lou Petrozzi, Wall Street Development Corp., to construct a new single-family home with the installation of all utilities and required site grading. Property is the 15 Pinnacle Drive, map 19, parcel 49 and 182. Plans are on file at the Conservation Commission office. Public hearing for this notice of intent will be held in person April 26, 2023, beginning at 7 PM. All interested persons requested to be present. Hearing's been opened and continued, and representing the applicant
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Lou Petrosi for Wall Street Development Corp. Just as a follow-up from our last meeting, Betsy had requested that we overlay the existing lot lines over some historical aerial photographs. So what I'm going to what I'm going to go through first is just a brief summary of the photographs as they evolved over time. This is the aerial from 1965. 15 Pinnacle Drive is located in this area right here. As you can see that this is occupied by multiple vehicles and other types of material related to the bird operation. One thing that you should keep in mind is that this area here is at street grade. The back of the buildings here are at like 20 or 25 feet below. They're at pond level. So just to give you a little perspective on how this slope took place, this is at one level, and this is at another level that's probably 20 feet higher. Because the trains came along this area right in here, they offloaded into the buildings. The buildings stored the product, and they were trucked out along these various routes out to Washington Street. So this is 1965. And then as time goes on, you've all seen this photograph from 1971, which also shows 15 Pinnacle Drive and similar type vehicles in operation as part of the Bird Corporation. And then as things progressed, this is the 1995 aerial photograph, which is just after they started to demolish the buildings. Pinnacle Drive shown here. You can see the sort of the cut-in of the Pinnacle Drive and the two cul-de-sacs, Misty Lane. And 15 Pinnacle is shown in here. And we've drawn in the legs of from the 2004 plan. So at this point, you can see how this is all
Can I
been.
just ask you, is this part of the new information you submitted us?
Some of it is. Yeah.
That aerial you're
Yeah,
right there,
yeah,
is
some-
it in this package?
Yeah, it is.
Yep,
Yep.
yes, I've got it right here.
1995.
Yep.
Just looking at this.
Yeah, it's in that package. So, so that's what it looked like in 1995 with the debris sort of pushed over. And then as times went by, this is the 2001 aerial photograph that shows the upside of Pinnacle Drive being developed with homes, and then 15 Pinnacle Drive on the opposite side of the street, where the area was filled in and the buildings removed at that point. And then lastly, this is the 2008 aerial photograph. It shows, this is 15 Pinnacle Drive, and I just outlined the other lot next door to it so you can see the difference in the two legs that were created in 2004. So in all of these photographs, it shows, number one, that the lot or the area was part of the previously developed Bird Corporation complex, and the evolution of the lot was the result of filling and pushing over of material that has resulted in the 20-foot difference in elevation between the street level and the bottom part of the remaining property. So from that perspective, I just wanted to share that information with Betsy in particular, but the commission, just to show that this has always been a previously developed property under the regulations, that there are certain criteria to deal with those kinds of conditions, and we think that what we presented under the regulations conforms to those criteria, which I've outlined in the correspondence that was submitted earlier this week. And I hope that I got it, made it available early enough for you folks to review it. But that's really kind of the additional information that you had requested. Paul McManus is here to answer any questions regarding the regulatory parameters. And we're here to answer any other additional questions you have regarding the site.
Okay, Landis?
Can you just put the board from 1995 up again?
Which one?
1995,
1995?
yeah. Yeah, that one, right?
This is 2001.
Oh, okay, what's
This
1995?
is 1995 right here. 1995.
So, first of all, I would just like to say, I'm gonna go over several points in my report to the commission, and it's for their benefit, and I ask that the applicant wait to the end, and if you have questions, direct it to the chairman. Felt like last time there was too much like banter back and forth, and I don't think it suits either the commission or the applicant when that happens, so if you would do that, I would appreciate it. Okay, so there are two sections of the Wetlands Protection Act 10.58 that are being addressed in this application. One was the lot recorded on or after 10/6/97. We talked a little bit about that last time. We did get a opinion from town council that 15 Pinnacle Drive recorded as a lot 24 prior to 10/6/97 was then reconfigured under an A&R in 2004 to lot 24A, and therefore losing status as a River Protection Act lot, because the regulations state recording, so it was, the actual 24A was recorded 2004, not prior to the Wetlands Protection Act. Two, did the applicant provide enough information to determine that lot 24A is previously developed lot? I think you did provide a fair amount of information tonight and previously that it was previously developed. Three, did the applicant provide enough documentation to show that the lot 24A is a degraded riverfront area? So the commission should look at both questions. Was it previously developed? Is it degraded riverfront area now? And then lot 24A can be previously developed riverfront area and not degraded riverfront area. If so, then the requirements of 310 CMR 10.584 shall be met as a lot recorded after 10/6/97. And there's a big difference there, so. I did copy these regulations for all the commissioners, asked them to review it so that they would be well versed of the regulations prior to this meeting. Five, if the commission finds that the applicant has shown that lot 24A is both previously developed and degraded riverfront area, then 10.585 A through D apply. It goes, there are other sections, but A through D are pretty much what you had said applied, applicant said applied, so you'd have to review those. 10.585 A, at a minimum, proposed work shall result in an improvement over existing conditions of the capacity of the riverfront area to protect the interest identified in the act. The applicant must meet this standard at a minimum. So the commission then has to look that. If the commission feels that it's both previously developed and degraded riverfront area, it falls under 10.58A. 10.58A5, then they have to meet those good criteria. And one, that there is an improvement over the existing conditions of the capacity of the riverfront area. I had posed the question to town council, if in order to meet that standard, can the commission request some protection or mitigation of the riverfront area that's on the abutting lot 25B, I think it's named several different ways, but I think it's 25B, which is, was previously owned by the same owner, and is, the way I understand it, now is owned by the same owner. And town council's opinion believe that the commission could, in order for the applicant to meet that 10.585A for a improvement over the existing conditions of the capacity of the riverfront area. Because most of the riverfront area, including the first 100 feet, is on the adjacent lot. It's not on this particular lot.
Okay. Go through the board. Dean, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I believe that you've shown a lot of evidence and with Landis that it was previously developed. I mean, good job with that. Now, was it degraded prior to 1997? Doesn't look like it was, in terms of dumping, piling. It looks like a clean lot here, and then it looks like in 2001, it becomes a dumping ground. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Bailey?
No questions.
Doug?
Has there been any testing for asbestos waste on the site?
Well, when they did the demo on the property, GZA did a full 21E report on the property, so there hasn't
So
been,
can you identify what you're talking about, the property, or are you talking about 24A?
yeah, which,
Because that's what this application is for, 24A.
The small parcel.
All right, on 24A.
nothing to my knowledge has been done other than what was previously included as the whole evaluation of the project of the Bird property when it was sold in 1985.
But that included this parcel?
Correct, that included this parcel, yes.
Just to clarify that the 21E report was for what property?
It's my understanding after reading that report that it was, they evaluated the entire property, which at that time covered everything from Washington Street down towards the end of this property, which was the Bird property at that time.
So all the way, including Riverwalk Commons.
Yeah, it started at where all those buildings were and then all the way down.
That pre-demolition?
I think it was.
Doug,
So,
anything else?
so in that report, what was their finding on
Well,
asbestos?
there wasn't any contamination or anything like that that needed to be dealt with from the conclusions that were reached there.
That's also an old report. It was from the 80s then, right?
Well, they had it for Riverwalk when Riverwalk was permitted.
Long time ago.
My recollection is they called out a portion, which I thought was this, that they didn't do a lot of investigation.
I don't know, I'd have
That
to
was
look.
my recollection. I have that report. I have.
Before the MCP.
Anything else, Doug?
That's it for now.
Anything else?
So it seems obvious that it was recorded after 2000, or after 97, and it was previously disturbed,
What-
previously developed, rather. The definition of degraded, Landis, I'd hate to put you on the spot, but what is there, it degraded meaning, what is the,
Well, I would refer to the regs and town councils.
okay.
There's a whole
I can
list.
share my regs if you want.
It was a parking lot
I
prior?
gave a copy of the regs to each one of
Oh,
them to
okay.
make sure they had the specific language and not pieces.
I didn't see.
I can read the
I
regs
have
here.
it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I can read them for you.
Yeah, read them.
A previously developed riverfront area contains areas degraded prior to August 7th, 1996 by impervious surfaces from existing structures or pavements, absence of topsoil junkyards or abandoned dumping grounds. Work to develop previous developed riverfront areas shall conform to the following criteria.
Is that degraded or previously developed?
It's,
That is a previously developed riverfront
Okay, what's
area.
degraded?
Contains areas degraded.
Yeah, but, okay, I'm looking for my definition of degraded.
I think they want, I,
I think I can help, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a section to refer to?
If the, it's confusing language. What
Pavement, absence
what
of
this
topsoil
gentleman read is the pertinent language. But the part that's kind of odd about the way they did it is that to be previously developed, an area has to contain some degraded. And then the list that he read is what the, kind of the options that would qualify a piece of land as degraded. So it's degraded, it says degraded by, impervious, absence of topsoil, junkyards, abandoned dumping grounds. So previously developed area needs to contain some degraded area. Degraded area is, degraded by that list, by one or more things on that list. So the part that's universally confusing is that to be all of the for all of the area that can be designated as previously developed does not need to be degraded, but some of it does. That's what it says, and it's an odd construct, but that's what it says.
Okay. Emilio, I don't know if that answers your question.
So that area was a parking lot, it looks like, by the photographs, is that what it was?
it was a parking lot, storage area,
Okay.
and
It was previously developed, it was, so by definition, does a parking lot make it degraded?
yeah.
But it was a parking lot, but it isn't a parking
No,
lot now.
it was, right, yeah.
So, no, two different things.
But
It was a building at one point.
It was a building. So I have to ask a question. So this was clearly developed and portions of it, were asphalt in this degraded fashion. And that's all prior to 1997. And that's, when you broke up this lot, it was all pre-97. Then in 2004, you redo the lot, right?
Mr. Chairman, may I
Yep.
interrupt for a second? So we're not arguing any further. The commission has made a ruling that, or a decision that this is not a pre-1996 lot. So we're not pursuing that line of approval.
Okay, great.
We're simply saying that this is a previously developed lot. And yes, prior to 1996, it was obviously previously developed. But since that time, it was in 1995, as that photograph shows you, all of the area that was where buildings and parking lots were in has all been filled in. So that's what we would call dumping area. So, and that, by definition, again, I think is what would be considered degraded. So we're not arguing the 1996, that was, we're setting it aside. But for the purposes of this application, was the lot previously developed? I think we all can say that it was. What's the level of degraded areas that were on that portion of the property that are now encompasses that lot? And that, I don't know if you folks have ever been out there, but you can see where the debris has been pushed over. And one of the other areas that's besides dumping ground is the absence of topsoil, which is another indication that the area is degraded. And Mr. McManus has provided evidence to substantiate the fact that there is an absence of topsoil there. So under two of the categories, A, it's previous developed, B, it's dumping area, and C, it has an absence of topsoil that's in the area that's been quantified by the flagging that we've identified on the lot.
Okay,
All done.
okay. Do you need anything else?
No.
Betsy?
Okay, so I think at this point, I feel that we need a site visit. I assume the area's staked out, or it can be readily, because we need to see whether it's degraded currently by this list here. We need to see whether there are existing pavements on it, whether there's an absence of topsoil on it, whether there's a junkyard on it, like there was over at Burns Ave, or abandoned dumping grounds. I mean, I think we need to actually go have a look. So that means we've got to arrange a date to do that, which is never easy, but we've got to do it, to see it, because we've seen photographs, we've been read definitions, and I just think it's time for us to go take a look at it. So I want to
Okay.
propose a site visit.
Okay.
A second thing too is, so, from all my poring over these regulations, it does appear that at least in one place it states that if there needs to be any sort of mitigation, it can happen on an adjacent lot owned by the same person. And, oh, yep, Mr. McManus, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just, please
Oh,
finish.
okay. Well, I think that it could happen on an adjacent lot, and the adjacent lot is riverfront that maybe could use some mitigation. But what, were you gonna correct me on that, or?
I think what's also pertinent to that is it's the same owner.
Well, yeah, it is the same
Yes,
owner,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what's pertinent to that, your statement,
okay.
your suggestion. Okay, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I just wanted to comment about the last thing, because again, I recognize these regs are confusing. The mitigation that you're talking about is for a scenario, I haven't finished the sentence, Landis, and you're disagreeing with me.
Yeah, because I know what you're gonna say. It's not, I know what you're gonna say, but go
The
ahead.
mitigation
We
that
have
you're
ESP up here.
describing is for a scenario where one is proposing to develop undeveloped riverfront, not previously developed riverfront, and therefore requires mitigation either on-site or, or off-site. And there's, under Sec 5F and 5G are kind of two different scenarios. But that provision that you just described is not a provision under the previously developed standard, which is the A through H. But I'm sorry, it's A through H, but F and G are not applicable because we're not proposing to develop any riverfront that's not previously developed. So there is no such impact, so therefore we don't invoke F or G as mitigation for such impact.
He responds to that.
We hear what you're saying, but I don't think we agree. But go ahead, Landis?
So the recommendation was not based on those regulations. The recommendation was based on 10.585A, where it clearly states, a minimum proposed work shall result in improvement over existing conditions of the capacity of the riverfront area to protect the interest of the act. So in order to meet that standard, the commission has to agree that there is a minimum improvement over the existing capacity of the, condition of the capacity of the riverfront area to protect the interests of the act. Therefore, in order to do that, you could protect or mitigate the riverfront area, which, yes, I agree, is not on this lot, but it is on a lot owned by the same owner. So
Which
the commission can say, well, protect part of that. That's my point.
I agree with your provision.
I believe that what's proposed represents an improvement. There are, of course,
know.
many different ways to do the improvement, and you described one. We have proposed one, which I believe passes the straight face test as an improvement.
I just wanted to
Okay.
correct that it wasn't under 10.58 G or F. It wasn't on that, under that
This is,
section.
I'm just dealing under A.
I know, but you were just correcting Betsy, so I was just stating that it wasn't under those provisions.
Okay, if I misunderstood, I thought you weren't talking about F and G.
Well, I don't know if I listed any letters. I think I was just reading out loud, but.
Did you have any other comments you'd like to make with respect to response to Landis' original comments?
Without getting into any controversial issues, I'd probably better off saying nothing.
Okay.
But
I think, as Betsy suggested, a site visit would be helpful for, I know some of us have been there, but not specifically for this site. We have been in the area, we've been, probably maybe even looked where this site is, but to try to, that wasn't the purpose of our site visit at that time. So I think a site visit would be helpful for the commission to see what it is that you are suggesting here that is, was it a dumping area or what? It looks, from going by the site from the street, it looks like some of what is on the site now was put there from whatever was removed when they built the other houses.
we don't know that.
I'm just saying, that's what it appears to be when you're there, you look at the vegetation, the size of the trees and what's there. So I think, but that's not getting out and looking at it. It's from observation from the street. So I think that it would be beneficial for the commission to take a site visit and probably clarify this, because I know there was, you could see some of the, when we did this 2-3 years ago, you could see some of the stuff that had been, was part of the former mill structure that had been moved to this place, however it got there. So, I think, but if, as I said, it's difficult today to place that and where it was relative to where this lot is relative to where we saw it. So I think it would be very helpful to have a site visit at this point. So,
And could I add something? It looks like, because I've got pages and pages of stuff here, and I shouldn't have double-sided it, but it looks like it was town council that said that what we're looking at is whether it's currently degraded by these definitions, which are existing structures of pavement, absence of topsoil, junkyards, and abandoned dumping grounds. So, I mean, that's why we need to go and look at it, because we've actually got a definition here
Excuse
that
me,
we could actually look for.
excuse me, Mr. Chairman. may-
you may.
So if it was dumped on in 1995 and 1989 or thereabouts, when it's a dumping ground, it doesn't matter whether you've dumped on it today or yesterday or whatever. Whatever happened prior to 1996, it's a dumping ground. So, and it was previously developed. So whatever the existing condition is today is whether or not is absence of topsoil or a dumping ground. So you can't, it doesn't matter whether they used it and dumped again on it, and if the commission allowed it to happen, then it's still degraded. I don't know how you can split hairs that way, but if you want to do a site walk, let's do a site walk,
Okay.
you know.
I think that will be beneficial. The question is when.
How about tomorrow?
About September 14th.
Here we go.
What's,
I'm not continuing it that long, pal.
what is the commission's Do we need anything staked out?
The lot lines are staked out, and the 200-foot riverfront area is staked out.
Is the 20-foot vegetated area staked out?
I don't know that it is.
Meant to the capacity of the riverfront area to meet the interests of that?
Say that again, I can't hear you. I didn't hear.
20 feet that you're revegetating, I think was part of your language for improving the capacity of the riverfront area.
I don't know that has been, because it's on a steep slope, so it's, I don't know that was done, but we have the lot line staked and we have the 200-foot riverfront line staked.
So you should stake that
So
out.
there's-
You had the lot corners staked.
The lot lines, I mean, I don't know if the rear lot line is staked, but the lot lines on either side
Yeah,
are staked.
and, does
And the
it-
200-foot riverfront line is staked.
okay, so.
And I think Landis is asking for another set of stakes at the
Well,
20-foot.
if you had the lot corners, the back lot corners, that would define that 20-foot.
Right, I can have somebody measure off the 20 feet.
If I'm reading your information correctly, to meet A, improving the capacity of riverfront area to meet the interests of the act, your improvements are,
Or what?
question mark. What are they?
No, well, what else?
There's the 20-foot renaturalized area at the back is a big component.
Okay, then I think that should be staked out so the commission can see what part of the riverfront area you're improving.
That's fine, I think we'll just
Yeah,
agree
I
to do
think I
that.
can do that, yeah.
If you get the back corner lot, that would
Yeah, it doesn't,
define that
it's
area.
not rocket science.
Okay.
So we might be looking at Saturdays, as we often do, because people
Do
have
it early
jobs.
evening too, it's daylight until 8 o'clock, so.
It depends on
I
people
don't
with
get home till like
jobs.
6, so.
Yeah, people with jobs and children.
Though I
So
work from
what
home
is,
Fridays.
what?
I work from home Fridays. I
Vacations is that?
Okay, but
don't know if that
Dean
helps
might.
anybody.
I'm gonna be away, so
Oh,
the
but
only,
you're gonna be away when?
No, part.
This coming weekend?
yeah,
Okay.
Saturday till June 10th,
Friday,
through June 10th.
Which
Friday
Friday?
would work for me,
Like this
Okay.
Friday?
this Friday.
I could do this Friday, but it'd have to be at like
That's the
8
what?
AM.
Yeah,
8 AM, that's okay.
7 AM.
7?
Huh? It has to be 8 AM and I'd have to, yeah, or like 8,
It has to be
10.
early. I have a 9:30 meeting.
Yeah, I gotta leave at 9:30 also.
I have to be home by 9:30.
I'm up at 8, I'm up at 6, so.
I can do
Well,
it that
what-
early, it's just more of a question of.
8 AM is early?
What? I get up at 6. Yes.
Why? I get up at 5, so,
When I'm retired, I'm not getting up at 6.
Would,
anywho.
I can do it on
Landis, does that work
Friday.
for you?
Meet there at 8,
Yep.
done by 9.
Well, whatever works for you guys.
Doug?
I think is
I
what's
think that
most
works.
important.
8:30 on this Friday?
8:30 or 8?
8.
8.
It's up to, I can do 8.
You can do 8.
So
I can do
today's
8.
Wednesday.
Well, we
How
have to ask the
many-
engineer if he's available. Wait a second.
We're available.
Oh, wow.
Speak for my engine.
I'm available.
What?
okay, so which time did you decide on?
8
8 AM Friday.
AM Friday.
Can you do that, Chad?
That's not gonna work, guys. We have to post, if it's gonna be 4 or more of you, we have to post 48 hours in advance.
Ah,
Which is,
Which is this morning.
Yeah.
can we do it the following Friday?
Why don't we do half and half?
That would work. No comment.
Can we do it the following?
Half of what?
The commission.
Or actually,
Commission.
are you away, Jack? You can't do it the following Friday, right? Okay.
How soon can you get it staked?
Oh, John Gloss is right across the street, so I mean, you could call him tomorrow.
Work from home Wednesday next week.
You guys could go.
So
I'll skip
do
this
it,
Friday.
I mean, could it be a Tuesday or a Wednesday at 8 AM?
I go to work.
A Wednesday at 8 AM?
I can.
Can we do it next Wednesday, 8 AM, or are you away, Jack?
I'm away.
I
I'm
can't do
leaving,
it.
I'm leaving Saturday.
Okay,
I'll
do
be
we have
gone
to do
for
it?
2 weeks.
Do we have to do it after you get back, maybe?
Well, if
What if I just
everybody else
happen
can
to show
go,
Jack,
Yeah,
you've
get
seen
it
it,
in.
I mean, you,
um,
Well, you could stake it and just not everyone go at once,
Yeah.
because
Oh.
it's really should not be a conversation of any decision-making or anything on site. You should just be going, observing, and bringing that information back to the next public
Oh, so we
hearing.
can do it like individuals going there, you think? Okay,
The purpose is to go and see, not to discuss,
Okay.
so.
it would have to be
It could
really
be-
clearly staked. I know there's a lot of tall weeds in there.
It's, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's the only lot, you know, it's between the existing houses. It's-
Yeah.
So
There is
you're-
kind of a path that goes
Goes
From
in
the-
the middle of it.
the street back through the piles that I noticed, so.
Okay.
The footing's a little rough, but it's not bad.
It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to get. I'm happy to meet a couple on Friday, and a couple can go on their own, it's fine.
So there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of
What do we
stakes?
need?
No, you
We can
just
have
need-
three.
Just the 200-foot riverfront,
You can have 3 people.
and then the 20-foot, and then the rear lot line.
That's
Okay.
no problem, that'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Suppose we stagger this on Friday
Let's
morning,
take
I'm available.
so,
in here, oops,
um,
so
starting
here,
at,
and here, and here,
Okay,
who
Or,
wants to
I mean,
start
I-
off earliest?
I think was,
Okay,
well, wait, how many people can start
well,
off?
3, you can go 3 at a time.
Okay,
And Al's not here, and Al's probably not too gung-ho
No.
about traipsing over that property.
no,
So we could do, what time?
8 o'clock on Friday, whoever shows up, and then.
Okay, so then somebody else, 8:30?
I can do 8:30.
So who's,
Who's going at 8? You,
Me and Dean.
okay, and,
okay, so you're going, Emilio,
yeah, I can go to
I
8.
and Doug, you can do 8:30?
Yeah.
So Doug's gonna go at 8:30?
Okay, so we'll have one group at 8, one at 8:30,
And you can do
and we'll
8:30?
keep separate. Hmm?
You can do 8:30?
Take my coffee, I'm just kidding.
Can you go at 8? Jack?
It's under $50.
I'm just kidding, I'm just,
No, no,
I know you want to muddy the waters.
Over the whole year, so-
That's illegal, it's against the law, you can't do that.
Saturday. I can get up
He
at,
knows
I can
more
get up
than
at
I
2:30. I get the flight. I can
8
be
o'clock
there-
Friday, I'll be there.
I can be there at
Oops.
3
Won't be
a.m.
happy, but I'll be there.
So 3 are going at 8 o'clock and 3 are going at 8:30.
Yes,
Okay, and just you're observing
just,
information,
Observing
you're not discussing or making
The
any
law.
decisions.
and I think
But actually,
you will be there, Lou?
Yeah, Paul will be.
Okay.
but I want to be clear on what our criteria are, because I do feel like we're sort of, and we're not gonna, so, somewhere the town attorney says that, and this is, I guess, page 2 of the email that we got, or at least on mine,
Yeah.
that are still causing degradation, and then the definition of degradation, because it can't just be sort of like it's a nasty-looking lot, it's got weeds all through it, but that's not degraded, right? So it can't be like my personal opinion of a lot full of weeds, you know?
Mr. Chairman, may I just say one last thing? So I think we've all agreed that it's previously developed, based on the information. So the question is, when we go out onto the site, is the lot degraded
Currently.
currently, historically, however? If it was degraded once, it's degraded today.
Well, no,
Well, no, because-
that's where I get into what the lawyer said, I want to really make sure that we're,
If you recall, on Burns Avenue, that was a dumping area.
yeah, but you can actually see the metal
Let's-
sticking
let's
out of the
not get
ground. and the
into-
tires.
Yeah, okay,
It's
It's
semantics.
all there on Friday. I appreciate your efforts to do that, and hopefully we
I
can
think-
come up with something that's.
Where this, the, what are you calling this area? The proposed native planting area, that needs to be defined, staked, so we can see where that is, what's there. Okay? So we're all set on that?
Yep.
Great, thanks very
Okay,
much.
so we gotta,
Excuse me, Mr.
we-
Chairman,
yes.
can we get a copy of your Landis's notes with the town council information?
It says
I don't know, I think some of that's labeled as
quiet.
confidential.
CEII.
I don't know what
Read it
the,
into the record,
I don't know what the protocol on that is.
It says attorney-client communication.
You read it into the record. All right, we'll just,
Are your lawyer notes in our notice of intent? I don't see them.
So,
If you wanna send them
We
to
have
us,
it on-
we'll be
we have
happy
it-
to take them.
we have it on videotape, so
right.
anyways. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you very much. I
Well,
appreciate
we
it.
need to continue the hearing. That's okay with you to continue the hearing?
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right.
When you
Base,
coming back yet? Where you going, on vacation?
I'm always on vacation. I'm on vacation 7 days a week. 24 hours a day.
Everything's set. I thought I was living the life.
Living the dream.
The 20, well, I'll be back for the 14th.
Okay.
Well, we've got a bunch of, let me find my agenda here.
Two of them by any chance? So do you have two of them over there by any chance?
There are 2 agendas.
Wasting my
I have this one
Okay.
that I've been using. I have an old one. that should have been okay, so what, we have a very full agenda on the 14th.
7:20,
On the,
14th.
we've got something,
No, we don't, oh, what do we have on, at 7:20?
Musket Lane.
Really?
There's, I don't know, you must have the original one, because I had the same thing. The one that was sent out
We have
originally, then it's been added
So
to.
7:25.
We have we have 6 hearings on the on the 14th.
Okay, 7:25.
Can you move this to the 24th?
28th.
I'm sorry, 28th.
Not ideal.
Well,
Make it
all right,
seven.
it's gonna be long.
I don't care.
You don't care.
I think if it's a, do a sidewalk, then the commission should be ready for it.
So you can always, once you, if you've collected all the information that you require and the applicant has provided all the information required, you can certainly close the public hearing that night and then render the decision at the next hearing.
Right,
Yeah, that would probably,
Okay.
nothing for us to.
okay, so 7:25 on the
So
14th.
7:25, we have one, so we're
What?
doing 7:30.
That's, you were given a revised copy
Oh, for
somewhere in your
goodness sake.
files,
All
in
right.
your blue folder.
Fine.
So 7:30, so you were number 7 on the list.
That's Al's.
Beautiful.
Um,
It's Flag Day.
15,
Thanks very much.
Okay,
okay,
Friday.
we'll see you Friday.
all right.
What time, 8:30 you said?
7:30, not 8:30.
It's probably gonna be more like 10 o'clock.
No,
What
thanks.
time did you put it at, 7:30?
7:30, yep.
I mean, this is all.
No, that's for the hearing. Someone make a motion to continue the hearing till 7:30 on
I'll move that.
June 14th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
600, 7:30 on June 14th. Now, Friday, we're getting there at 8:30. Right?
Yes,
8:30.
Correct.
I just want to make my
correct.
calendar.
It's violent now.
Have a good night.
Good night.
So, Thank you.
What is this? I got this. What is that?
15 Pinnacle.
Just found that in my packet.
Okay.
Land donation.
Englewood Road.
Tanglewood.
Western
That was
Mass.
gonna be fun.
Tanglewood is, yeah. Tanglewood Road
Unusable,
is not.
unaccessible land.
All right.
Just for those going there, I know that there are a lot of ticks around
Yeah.
up at Aaron's Farm, so this is similar, so they'd be
This is the potential.
aware.
Yep,
And I imagine there'll be some poison ivy growing there too.
gosh.
Sweet. File a lawsuit.
Wear your long socks.
Following the same path as,
You didn't get that in your packet?
I'll let Lou lead the way.
Jim. This might have been, may not have been in my packet.
I get poison ivy, like I look at it and I get it.
Me too.
I don't know if there's any poison ivy
Yeah, that's
up
gonna
there,
get
there's
tabled.
definitely gonna be some down
There's
below.
be down, yeah. and also just watch the
So I had
Oh,
Ending
it
Pass
was.
the first time
spray for
Friday.
ticks.
Oh,
Ticks.
That was nice.
They're very prevalent this year, from what I've been told. Okay, we have minutes from May 10th.
yep.
Someone want to move the minutes?
Moved.
This is the second.
We got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600.
Adjective of being super
Okay, that's that. Okay, the North Street, is there any reason to discuss what is going on at North Street? We can do this as a discussion item if there's any questions or whatever that anybody has on their mind right now. We're kind of dependent on the engineering department to put the finishing touches on that plan. Anybody have any suggestions or comments at this point? Hearing none, we'll move along.
Moving on.
Oh, well, okay, no, actually, I don't, never mind, go ahead.
Okay, Master plan update.
The draft has been made, like I said, having some technical difficulties. It's ongoing.
Ongoing, okay. Ongoing technical difficulties,
Ongoing.
okay,
Lots of apologies, but it's happening.
okay. What is this, potential land donation?
That's tabled for the night, tonight, that's tabled. The person wants to think about it a little bit longer.
Oh,
Okay,
are they,
so put that on the agenda for next meeting?
No, we'll put it
Oh,
on the
wait.
agenda when he thinks about it more.
Okay, so that, will come up again and, when and if,
Yep.
okay?
Interesting. I had it on the agenda, but I lost.
Enforcement orders, anything new on any of these, Landis? Woodruff, is that a new one?
Right, so Woodruff, I sent out a notice of non-compliance, but resolved it. It was just some work to the backyard, which abuts Willet Pond, and there was some concern by the Friends of Willet Ponds that the work was in the 100-foot buffer zone, but it turns out the work is not in the 100-foot buffer zone, it's just outside the 100-foot buffer zone, that they did some filling and regrading to flatten out a portion of their backyard for a son's wedding, so everything's fine, been resolved, it's been resolved.
Okay,
This was resolved after that, after the agenda was posted, so.
all right.
So I went out to Burns Ave. Burns Ave is, we haven't received anything, but the site is stable, nothing's really changed on that site, so there's still, a fair amount of growth on it as well, and they haven't done anything different there, so that's kind of fine the way it is. Peach Street, we're still waiting for that plan. Main Street, 1342, Main Street, the veterinarian clinic, so as I think I reported last time, they did they removed the gravel to the pavement, and they put in some loam, and they put in some conservation seed mix, and they planted the 18 shrubs, and put up some signs, but just on like metal posts with the signs. So I contacted them and, let them know that there should be a more substantial boundary, like a guardrail there. I went back and reviewed Dan American's letter, and in Dan American's letter, he did state that the doctor thought that they didn't want a permanent boundary because they were concerned with emergency vehicles turning around, but the minutes in the conversation at the hearing was, no, we still want a permanent boundary. So I let them know that they were supposed to come back with a sketch of what they were gonna do. And, so I'm still waiting for that. So both Phil Mackey, the American, and, Christina Poor all know that that's a requirement. Follow up on that, make sure that's put in. I understand she's put a for sale sign out front, but that they want this resolved before,
Okay.
for a sale.
Okay. I see you have parking lot, where did I see that? Someplace on the, at Stone Street? Where did I see that?
Oh, the high school kids?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
where did I see your, oh, there it is, yeah.
Park Spawn.
It's a 2-hour parking. I think we had this issue several years ago.
Right, yep.
And I
Oh,
did
cops.
notice one day morning coming in that the lot was pretty full. And I figured it was used. I think just ask the police department to put a notice on their cars, it's 2 hours parking.
That's a ticket.
Well, they probably won't write a ticket. I think if we just put a notice on for, and maybe ask the high school to send a notice
Right,
out.
so I did talk to Kelly, the, transportation person, and she was gonna look into it and look into other people who should be involved, and I thought maybe we need to sit down and talk about how we can be proactive, so this doesn't happen again next year.
Work from home.
Well, there's 2-hour parking
Does
signs
it
there.
say that? Does it say 2-hour parking?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure, because this is what we did years ago when this came up.
is the sign currently up?
So much parking.
I'll have to take a look, but I'm pretty sure there are signs there, and I'm pretty sure it's a 2-hour parking.
Yeah, because I was thinking that we needed a sign that would be 2-hour parking, so I don't remember seeing one, but
Yeah.
I'll double check on
Just
that.
check.
If they're gone, we can have them put up again.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah,
That also may be a kid.
we need the sign there if it isn't, before we can do anything, if there's no sign, we need to put one up.
Yep.
Put one on, at least one on each side, probably one on each end, you know, on each side, on each end, so there's more.
There's nothing to
Can't say I didn't see the sign.
Right.
That was in sports.
I would think what happened last time was it was around this time of year and seniors graduate, so they don't drive anymore, so there's plenty of parking spaces at the high school. It'll resolve itself, and
Right,
it
'cause
hasn't come
it
up
seems to
until this.
fill up really early in the morning, and then I went down there before the kids would have normally got out at 2:05, and mostly all the cars were gone, so if the seniors are being released early, then they're leaving early.
Yeah.
They get there early and then they leave early.
Yeah.
They also, I guess, Ellis Street is usually
Yeah,
piled
well,
with
that- 'cause
cars,
that
and Ellis
street
Street
is-
was empty too by like 1:30,
Yeah, 'cause those streets there, I see they
yeah.
kind of wrap around the corners as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I've been noticing it for like a week or so, and then today when I drove by, I saw someone parked on the grass. I thought, no, we definitely can't have to have people just parking on the grass. And that looked like someone that was there, sitting in their car, looking at the pond, but there was nowhere else to park.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be like that.
No, there should be, and I guess the thing, I think it should be kept as 2-hour parking, and that's not, part of the problem is that kids, as the year goes on, more kids get their license.
Right, that's my
And there's
understanding.
more cars than are in September, so.
Right.
But I think we should, that's not our problem. I think we should keep that open for the
Yeah, I
public.
agree. And then just, I think work with the channels to the school, just so
Yeah.
that whatever they can do on their end also.
Who is the person you talked to? They're with the school?
Yeah, Kelly, does the transportation, and she was gonna talk to someone else, but
Okay.
I mean, you know, maybe if one or two kids get tickets, that the word will probably go really quickly, or warnings or something.
It would probably be, at this point, appropriate to hand out warnings for
Yeah.
a week, and then if it persists, then tickets. But I don't know, but the tickets have to come from the police department. I don't know if they'll will do that or not, but that's, would be my suggestion, a warning for a week,
Yeah.
and then, you know,
Yeah, police department, or I'm sure we
kids
I could hand out
kids
something.
can afford a car, they can afford a parking ticket.
I can hand out a warning.
There you go.
It's the conservation agent.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, you
fine.
Have the money, let's have the money go to Clark Ponds.
That's right, you can write,
Perfect.
yeah.
I'll go out there and write tickets. I walk by
Okay.
there all the time.
Moving along,
You know what's worse than a parking ticket? No.
okay, extensions, did we do? We did the, we
So
did the
you,
one,
yeah, you used to have 18
Industrial Road.
Industrial Road. So again, that's, I remember, I think it was last time we talked about this, and this is Callahan Fish. And it's been going on for years that they've been extending this order because they were doing remediation for a spill. And my recollection was they were still doing the remediation and they couldn't do the additional work which involved something with managing the stormwater until they complete the mediation.
But why, though? I mean, why can you not deal with stormwater while you're dealing with the remediation?
Because the stormwater's
Did they
contaminated.
explain what the remediation is?
But where's the stormwater going now? Onto the street and into the drainage
So
basin?
sorry,
For my time.
I don't have all those answers, so I think last time we were gonna have them answer some of those questions prior to giving them
Yeah.
another extension.
Yeah.
And the word didn't get to them this time, so why don't we table it for now and I'll contact them and
Okay.
say, please thoroughly address why we keep on continuing this order of conditions
Yeah.
and why you can't finish it.
I would
What the
say,
spill was? What was the spill?
It was a spill.
it was a
Of
spill.
chemicals? What kind of
What
chemicals?
kind of
Chemical
chemicals?
spill.
Chlorinated?
10 years ago, I mean, it was
Oh, God,
quite a
yeah.
long time
Yeah, a
ago.
long time ago.
See, it
I
just,
would-
Roundup.
I would tell them, we want answers to the questions, we'll extend it one more year, and that
Well-
will be it.
well,
On
first we get
extensions.
answers. I don't think we extend it one more year until we find out why it
Yeah.
is that you can't control stormwater.
So last time, the message was, we'll extend it this year, and then we want to
Yeah,
know
yeah, so let's
answer
stick
to
with
the
that. yeah.
questions of why we keep on continuing.
Yeah.
this.
Can we get their RTN?
So then we'll get the answers
Can we
to the
what?
questions.
What's the RTN for that site?
I'm not sure. We haven't gotten any reports
Really?
for it.
If they have a spill, they should be, and if it's a reportable spill, they have to submit that stuff to the Concom,
They,
or to the MCP,
What's an RTN?
release tracking.
they had some monitoring wells.
They do.
Yeah,
And I know there was some on the other side of the street, I think it was, that was, we were looking at for,
Just got their letter.
ask them to make a donation to the property to, because it connects to the land behind Cedar,
That it's definitely.
Yep,
Cedar Creek or whatever that is in there, that conservation land.
Yeah,
This would add to it, but that, forget his name now, but he was big on pushing that. He
well, it
was-
used to be John Lennon, but I don't think he's there anymore.
No, he's, I think he's retired. But the
Yeah.
guy that was on the commission, he was hot to get a trail going through there.
Hmm.
Adams?
Oh, Dick Adams?
Dick Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Al, can I see that?
Okay,
Right, yeah.
okay, what else we got here? Appeals?
Cute. 8 months.
Nothing new on appeals, apparently.
See the resemblance?
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, it's the temporary flex pipe connection ensures that stormwater flows
Yes,
are not
yes, it's early
commingling
model
with the
Mustang.
subsurface water that
Prototype.
might be contaminated.
Told you, Betsy.
What is it that you told me, that?
I said that they're having problems with
But to-
stormwater entering with the contamination.
Okay, see what they're
So is
doing.
that a good enough explanation?
Um,
No, because it just seems, I mean, stormwater is over the entire site, and
Unless there's an infiltration basin.
is there an infiltration basin?
I don't think so.
There was a
Yeah,
proposed.
they have-
See, that's the thing.
They had,
So what's happened, Betsy, is you can get an injection gallery, which is an infiltration basin, that could migrate or force migration of your contamination plume.
But what's it doing now? I mean, is it just going out into the street and into a catch basin and then down the street? So I guess I think they need to sort of tell us what the status of their project is. They had a spill 10 years ago. How's it going in every aspect?
They should have it, yeah.
okay. Anything on the correspondence we need to know about?
So these are the yearly operation plans, or otherwise known as the YOP.
Just make that up. I'm sorry,
I did not.
Did you just add an acronym to that for the tickles?
It's a YOP, yearly operation plan.
You're clever.
For MCRR, which is the railroad, and Eversource, which is Eversource.
Best.
Vegetative management plan for the 2023 YOP. Those are, those are now online. They used to send it to us, but now you have to go online. And they generally don't change. They're pretty much the same because the right-of-ways are still, they don't move. They're the same place. The wetlands don't really move. They don't, spray in the wetlands.
There's a whole team for that.
Anyone wants to look at it?
Anything else?
No.
Anybody have anything else? Anybody want to close the meeting?
Yep.
I'll move to close it.
Yup.
Are we ready?
All in
Okay,
favor?
Aye.
Yep.
okay. All in favor, yes, everybody was in favor. Good enough.
Oh, yeah.